If you turn to page 38 in the book of Comparing and Scaling, we are looking at problem 3.4, two different rates. What the problem is basically saying is we're going to use division to find the unit rates to solve the following questions. Label each unit rate. So, part A asks us, Superfoods has oranges on sale at 10 for $2. What is the cost per orange? So what we basically have to do is we have to find the unit rate that will give us the cost per orange. So what we're going to basically do is this. We're going to set it up both ways. So we will do 10 over 2 and 2 over 10. And just to make sure that we don't get confused, we're going to label everything. The 10 represents the number of oranges. The 2 represents dollars. So again, $2, 10, number of oranges. All right, now we're going to do our division. So, just like in all the other problems, divide by 2. So we're going to divide by the bottom number each time. And that is going to give us a value. So, 10 divided by 2, we don't need a calculator for that. We can figure out that that is 5. 2 divided by 2 is 1. And then in the bottom one, 10 divided by 10 is 1. 2 divided by 10, we'll pull out the calculator for this one. And 2 divided by 10, 0.2. So we'll say 0.20. Okay, so now we're back to where we need to be, but we need to first figure out what do these numbers mean. So, if I continue with the labels, this should be number of oranges. This should be dollars. This one should be dollars. This one should be number of oranges. Okay. So another way to write this would be 5 oranges for $1. And the way to write the bottom one would be $0.20 for 1 orange. And since that just seems weird to say that, we'll just change it over to 20 cents per orange. All right, so now we have our two ratios. And let me just circle those so I don't lose them. All right, so now let's go back to our question. Okay, question number 1. What is the cost per orange? That goes back to the second ratio that we did. So the cost per orange is 20 cents. And you can see our work over here. All right, question number 2. How many oranges can you buy for $1? Well, that goes back up here to our first one. And the answer is 5. And again, if I already have all my work right there, I can kind of see where everything is. All right, question 3, we're not going to worry about question 3 right now because we basically just discussed that whole process. All right, so now the very next thing is part 4. Complete this table to show what you know. So it's using the information that we have, the 10 for $2, and you can see that right here in the table, and it's asking us to fill in the rest of the table. All right, so we know that, all right, let's go to the next screen. All right, so that's a little bit bigger. Okay, so if I have $1, how many oranges can I buy? We just answered that in one of the questions, and that answer was 5. If I have 1 orange, how much will it cost? 20 cents. And we're just going to double check this stuff. We did say five oranges for $1 and 20 cents per orange. Okay, so we're good. All right, and here's our original problem of 10 for $2. So if I want 20 oranges, how much will it cost me? How do I figure that out? Okay, several ways that you can do this. If you remember from doing the rate table earlier in the unit, where we was doing it for feeding the chimps, I could take the 10 oranges and ask myself, how do I get 20? That's times 2. So I'm going to take the 2, times that by 2, and that will give me $4. The other way that I could have did it is, if I didn't see that, then I could just do 20 cents times 20. And I still would have gotten the same answer of $4. All right, so what do I do for 11? Okay, again, I could use what we learned before. I could take the 10 and add 1. That will give me 11 oranges. So it should be $2.20. Or I could just take 0.20 times 11. And I'm actually going to pull out the calculator for this one, just because I like pulling it out. It's 2.2. So $2.20. All right. The last thing that it does is it gives us $2.60. And they want us to figure out how many oranges is that. Now, I could look at the 220 and just keep adding 20 cents. What I would find out is that that's basically 13. The other thing that I could do is I could just take the $2.60 and divide it by 0.20, which is the price for 1. And that will give me 13. And again, this is tying back into what we did with the chimps and how we filled in the table for that. So we're using several different strategies to fill in this rate table. We're using the chimps information where we found out all this stuff, and that was way back in investigation. Well, we looked at it in investigation 3.1 as a warm-up, as an introduction, but it was actually in investigation 2.3.